these ancient Egyptian gods are going to be enslaved to the Golden Lord Eldlich as he works to conquer the world. I've been really excited for the Horus engine to come out. It has a ton of great synergies with Eldlich specifically that I think is going to make this deck a lot more powerful. And we were already getting to Master 1 pretty frequently. So I think that the sky is the limit for where we can take Eldritch now that we have the Horus engine. This first video is mostly just showing off my initial testing, how the package works, why it's good in Eldritch, and so on. It's probably going to take some time for me to experiment and figure out what the most optimal version is, but I'll also show you what I've been working with. All right, so first, this is not a bad hand. You don't want to have either of these Horus related cards in your hand. You prefer them to be in the deck, and so you can send them to the grave. However, if you also have the King's Sarcophagus, it's not bad. We want these to be in the grave, and King's Sarcophagus means that you need to discard a card in order to send one of your Horus monsters to the grave. So because we already have them in our hand, we can discard one to send another, and pretty quickly we can get our whole Horus engine online. So we discard these. Here, I could have discarded both of these to send a couple more Imsetis to grave, and then, like, I can recycle them, but I think this is fine. Basically, I'm just going to rely on pure Horus engine, and Eldritch is kind of in the back note right now. So some people will like to like XYZ these into other cards, like to create a monster negate or a spell negate, or maybe you get a quick mill. So far, what I'm choosing to do is just leave them on the field. They have really powerful effects on their own, like before you start using them as XYZ materials. Instead, what I like to do is on follow-up turns, use them as XYZ material, and then summon them back for free. So really quickly, this can go to like 5 or 6 monsters if they don't deal with us. It's also a deck that gives Eldritch a lot more resilience. I'll just let the gameplay speak for itself here. All right, we are going against Unchained. They're going to make a huge mistake and destroy a single card. So first, we get to trigger Imseti, which is going to send one of their cards to grave. We get to draw a number of cards equal to the different names of monsters on the field, and we can recycle 2 of our cards. So there, instead of recycling cards, I'm actually going to use it as a disruption. They have this card in the grave that is going to be able to extend and do stuff, so I'm just kind of getting rid of it, and I'm recycling one of my cards so I can have it in the future. I'm also summoning an Eldritch. It's not going to be an interruption, but it's just an extra name, so I get an extra draw. All right, disrupt, draw 4, get rid of the monster. And now it's like we have these 4 monsters, you know, none of them can be destroyed unless the destruction targets. So if they had a Raigeki or something, or a Dark Hole, it wouldn't affect us at all. And a lot of the cards that Unchained use rely on destroying in a non-targeting way. So King's Sarcophagus preventing all these cards from being destroyed is really helpful. So it's just a very resilient board. You have to kind of hit over all these high attack monsters, and they're unable to do that. All they do is make this link to. Okay, they are going to destroy the King's Sarcophagus, I guess. They set up a disruption, which is going to get a destroy. And that card that they destroyed recycles. So this is where the Eldritch engine has great synergy with Horus, because all of our cards recycle from the grave. We can discard them to create bodies, create disruptions really easily. They're making another huge mistake. They're choosing to destroy one of my cards. In this case, they destroy the card that recycles, but that means we get to send one of their cards to grave, probably the face down card, and we get to draw 3 more cards. They're gonna special something, but whatever. Oh no, not even special summon, just add it to hand. Okay. Draw- we had a pot so we could draw two. Okay. So, um, compared to what the Adventure Engine or Diabellstar can do, you can see why that is awesome. Oh, um, whew. Yeah, so when that is what the Horus Engine is capable of after like a couple of turns, and the fact that Eldlich is a deck that really likes to have really long, grindy games, um, like it's just a massive boost. Okay, going up against Sky Striker. This is a pretty good hand. We have two ways to get our King Sarcophagus online. One is that we literally have King Sarcophagus, and the other is Imseti, which can search a King Sarcophagus. I really like Pot of Extrav because we just want to have as many cards in our hand as possible, especially getting started. Like, our deck has a ton of really powerful trap cards, um, and we just want to be able to discard stuff. So this is kind of just like a great hand. Like it's just a bunch of Eldlich cards and Horus Engine. So we're just going to start discarding to get our Horus Engine up. And then in addition to that, all these cards can recycle to get like disruptions and big monsters. All right, send a couple cards to grave. There I'd wanted to get an Imseti engrave. So what I could have done, I guess, is discarded the Imseti using King Sarcophagus to send another Imseti. But instead what I do is I use Imseti to discard, grab another King Sarcophagus as follow-up in case they blow it up. Sky Striker has a lot of spells that can just destroy our back row, and get an extra draw in case we get something. So now Horus Engine online. I could have made some XYZ monsters, but you have to be careful and play around whatever this back row is. Like, Sky Striker has a lot of, like, single destroy one or two cards, negate one or two cards, steal one or two cards type of things. So I'm just like, I just have this really resilient board. Look at the recycling. Non-targeting banish from grave. Non-targeting destroy. We can reduce the attack of one of their monsters to 0 forever. And it's also a rank 8, which means that we can use it for rank 8 plays. All right, what do they got? Okay. Okay. They banished that for a bit. We're going to get a recycle. We can recycle the pot of it. We get another draw too. Uh-oh. Okay, so they do grab an evenly matched. Here, I didn't use Imseti to send this card to grave or this card to grave because I got the feeling that they have a evenly matched for some reason, even before he like searched it out. So I was trying to leave cards on their field for them to have evenly. But that was probably a mistake because now they're going to steal a monster, make Little Knight, and Little Knight banishes itself to get off the field, which means that they can then evenly match me. So they banished one of my Horus monsters until the end of my next turn. They banished another Horus monster until the end of this turn. There, I just destroyed my own Eldlich to get it in the grave. I chose to leave up the Guardian just because I wanted them to have a face down card that they might be afraid of. That probably was a mistake. I probably should have just left up the King Sarcophagus so that they have to waste time and resources trying to destroy it. But it is what it is. All right. They can recycle uh, Sky Striker Mobilize. They've got the continuous spell, which means they can recycle their quick play spells. Gonna destroy a spell or something. No, banish a monster. Okay, and then recycle. Okay. So they have a couple of interruptions, and they're probably feeling pretty good right now, but they're no match for the power of the Horus Engine. Oh no, they stopped us from getting a draw too, which, by the way, we got that for free by recycling earlier. We also have Cursed Eldland, which allows us to draw to get fodder for things. We tried to take out one of their cards, recycling even more. King Sarcophagus is back, baby. right, they take control of both of my monsters. Okay, man. All right, keep recycling. We are. Oh man, what's a we are we have a green thumb. We environmentally friendly. We recycle everything. All right, so this card came back as it was banished until the end of our next turn. This card came back as it was banished until the end of our turn. So now we have our full Horus engine. A whole non-targeting destroy, reduce attack to 0. We can resist whatever they do if they remove our cards. And this is the turn after they evenly matched us. They literally evenly matched us last turn. Look at this. Kaiser Coliseum. So that is pretty good for them. That means I can't summon my Conquistador anymore to destroy their cards. All right, they're link climbing. They needed to get SP Little Knight out of their main monster zone so that they could use this card, which means that they could destroy a monster and destroy a spell or trap. Which is fine, but they did have to give up their SP Little Knight in order to do that. Like, I feel like they could have just used SP Little Knight's effect to banish itself in a card. I don't know. But we're going to recycle one of our Conquistadors and recycle our King Sarcophagus and get a draw 3. Uh-oh. So now we do still have to survive this turn, but if we do, we have so much follow-up. Okay, take control of the monster. All right, so here they're trying to make an access code play. They've taken control of a bunch of our monsters. They're going to link up into Selene. However, they made a big mistake here because they've summoned so many monsters. I can use my Conquistador again, so I can destroy, whatever card I want to. In this case, I'm going to destroy Selene because that way she can't make access code anymore. They can't kill me this turn. I'm going to have like 6 or more cards in my hand and recycling all of my Horus cards. Absolutely GG. You're toast. Duel number 3. What is this? Rescue Ace. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes. Yeah, experimenting has been a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of future decks that we try out with this, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. Oh yeah, this was when I was running Winged Dragon of Ra, Spear Mode. I was trying it out, but I switched it out for a different card. Yeah, so that's something that's really nice is because they special summon for free, they will often, if they don't understand how Horus works, they'll hold off on their max C. So in this case, we got to special summon 2 monsters before they could even, hit us with max C. That is kind of a downside of this thing because you do special summon a couple more monsters. You are a little bit more wary of max C, and you actually do care about Nibiru a little bit, but it's fine. All right. They hit us with the dreaded Harpy's Feather Duster, but we still get to, get a transaction rollback. Oh. All right, so here are happy. It grabbed our King Sarcophagus back, and we had used Trap Trick to banish an to banish a transaction rollback. So we now grab the transaction rollback that we banished off of Trap Trick. So we're in a good spot now. We do still have to survive the turn. Like, we've used kind of his effect already. We haven't used Imseti's effect, but they're probably going to deal with him before that happens. Now, to be clear, we still have a rollback engrave and either a Karma Cannon, or we can also Trap Trick onto something. Karma Cannon, goodbye. Yeah, they just give up because they don't have enough follow-up. I'm going to set my King Sarcophagus again. I'm going to get rid of one of my cards to, send another card to grave. I'll have transaction rollback in the grave. Absolute GGs. And that's kind of an example of why I like using those really powerful traps, for example. Okay, what's this next one? Labrynth. Okay. I think I remember this was a grindy game. I'm kind of in a situation where I'm trying to decide if 60 card Eldlich is even the right version of Eldlich to play now that we have Horus. Like, Horus is just so strong. When I was using my 60 card version, went way too many duels without seeing any of my Horus cards, and I just like it so much. All right, so we do bait out the lovely pop. Um, I was hoping that they would do this and destroy Cursed Eldland, um, which they did kind of need to do. Otherwise, I'm going to search out an Eldlich and then I'm going to send one of their cards to the grave. But now we get our full Horus engine online. Boom, boom. Yeah, here maybe I got a little bit greedy. Zombie vampires trying to mill into a transaction rollback, for example. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that also sucks. But we do still get to recycle our Eldritch cards. And they've got their Labrynth card set up. Okay. We do have an 11,000 defense token, so they're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that. Another reason I was being greedy here, I was using my Paleozoic Marillas just to get extra bodies. What I really should do is hold off on using them until they have a lady on the field, because then I can chain my Paleozoic Marillas in the graveyard to interrupt Lady's ability to search, for example. Like right here, right there, Lady was going to try to search another spell or trap, but because I had a Paleozoic Marilla in grave, it could summon out and stop them from doing that. Let's see, I tried to use Dogmatica Punishment, but they were able to bounce out of the way. Now that SP Little Knight is here, I'm kind of wondering if Dogmatica Punishment is even the right card to have, just because there are so many ways for them to dodge targeting cards now. Whatever. They did destroy the token. Okay. They chained to get a search just to welcome, that's fine. Ice Dragon's Prison. Remember, this is exactly what we want. Banish, Lovely, destroy the field spell, halfway to victory. They do get to recycle their other lady. So if we can banish this, then they're going to be like pretty much finished. Okay, they have the field spell up too. Okay, so they get to destroy one of our cards and search something out. All right, what are we going to do? Recycle, get another elixir. They're going to destroy our King's Sarcophagus before we can start special summoning. They've got a transaction rollback to copy all the awesome traps that we have. All right, a coup clock so they can activate to copy whenever they want. Transaction rollback. Bounce us to hand. All right, so we're in pretty dire straits here, right? Like they've taken out our King's Sarcophagus. They've got the field spell up and an ability to recycle cards. They still have one of their ladies. Like, it's not bad for them. But what if we evenly match them? We still have one card on the field, but that's just like activating evenly matched normally. It's not as good as banishing everything face down, but now we're going to banish their transaction rollback. We're going to banish if they try to, banish everything. They have to keep this lady because it's their only lady left. Labyrinth players always run 2 lady and 1 lovely. Okay. They're just going to steal one of my cards so they can banish it, but that doesn't matter. All right, so we aren't in a great spot. We're both at 4,000 attack. Our resources are definitely depleted. Here I just let him attack. I don't want to use my elixir in a way where it's like he's able to chain and grab like another transaction rollback or something. Instead, I'm hoping I draw into some sort of a spell card. We do. Okay. Here I get a little greedy. If he has an Ash Blossom, then I'm going to be in huge trouble. I'm hoping to use Pot of Prosperity to draw into a transaction rollback that I can use with Eldlich to send Lady to grave. I would take an elixir. All right, here again, I'm getting kind of greedy. I probably should have just grabbed whatever the other card, but it's fine. Grass 1835. Let's see what we mill into. Hopefully a transaction rollback. Nice. Okay. Great. Okay. So we can summon out an Eldlich, use the Elixir to summon another interruption. Well, we can at least destroy their last lady. So at this point, they've also used pretty much all of their like how many big welcomes do they have left? There's one, two of their big welcomes are banished, and the third one was banished face down earlier. Okay, so yeah, they're completely out of big welcomes, which means the only way they can recycle this lady from the grave is with another one of that Link 2 monster. So like they still have a lot of engine, but it doesn't matter if you don't have your boss. Okay? Both of our Eldliches in hand, not what you want to see. Okay, they're going to activate their card this turn, apparently. Okay. They could also summon a Chaos Angel, which would be a bummer. But we milled into multiple transaction rollbacks, so we can just roll back onto Elemental Burst and destroy everything they have. Alright, another Muckraker. Gonna try to summon Lady. What if we just banished your Lady? We're gonna copy an evenly matched. Yeah, they keep using Max C, but it doesn't matter. You're drawing one or two cards. Yep, you're done. So that's a good way of showing the interactions between the Horus engine, Eldlich, seeing all the back row stuff. All right, let's do one more duel. Snake Eyes. Okay, this is a long one. Oh man, this deck just has so many interesting things it can do. There are tons of XYZ monsters that I haven't even. I keep thinking of new ones to add in the extra deck. Really cool stuff. Yeah, you can pair it with zombies, pair it with vampires. Obviously, you can pair it with Tearlaments, but from some of the stuff I've seen, it seems like Tearlament players already have so many ways to like mill cards and get use out of milled cards that like they don't really need it. Which, if true, it would be great for us because it means that this is an engine that like is helpful for roguish decks like Eldritch and Orcust and vampires and so on. But hopefully, like the meta decks won't necessarily try to use it. Okay, grass. That could be good. This is kind of the standard Snake Eyes board. Okay, transaction rollback plus evenly matched, please. Did I not get a evenly matched? Evenly matched? Did I not have a transaction rollback? Oh, I see. Yeah, so I didn't get any transaction rollbacks. I have one in my hand. If I had gotten an Eldlich in the grave, I would have been able to use Eldlich to grab a rollback, send it here. Eldlich comes to my hand, doesn't summon, battle phase, banish everything face down. That's what I could have done, but I didn't grab an Eldlich, so instead we're just going to have to set some cards. They're going to grab Nightmare Phoenix, which is an interesting choice. Surprised they didn't do Little Knight. Maybe they're saving Little Light for later. To be fair, this is the first day it came out. Maybe they just haven't gotten it yet. All right. Karmic Cannon's going to be probably our best friend. Paleozoic Merle is also going to be useful to send a rollback to grave. Okay. Probably right here we're going to Elemental Burst them. Roll back to grave, copy Elemental Burst. Awesome. Summon Karma Cannon. Uh-oh. It's fun to evenly match other people, but when they have it, it's a bummer. Okay. Nope. Ash Blossom. Okay. So, yeah, you could really say this match has evened up. Yeah, this is kind of a downside to doing this mill version. It's a little bit less likely for you to get a King Sarcophagus, which means even though you've milled a bunch of your Horus cards to the grave, you can't actually start summoning them. So in this case, it is more of just the standard type of Eldritch plays that you normally see. Okay, they send it to grave, summon two more. Yeah, we're actually in big trouble. Do we even have a rollback in the grave? No, we don't have a rollback. All right, now they have an Omni Negate. All I have is this single non-targeting destroy. So we actually get lucky. They've been running lower on their extra deck. They already summoned out the Promethean Princess. So here I don't summon any monsters because if I summon something, the princess will just destroy it and come out. Um, yeah. On the end phase, we can try to summon. They negate me grabbing an Eldlich. There we go. Okay. So first we bait out the Promethean Princess. She makes a mistake. She tries to destroy my Paleozoic Marilla. However, it's unaffected by monster effects when it's summoned. We're also going to make the Light Charmer. Here I thought I was being pretty slick, but it was actually kind of a mistake. You'll see why in a second. So I summon out the Guardian because I want to make rank 8 plays. King Sarcophagus means we can start summoning monsters. And we make Coach Giant Trainer. So this allows us to draw 3, which is great when we're in this sort of situation. We just want to grab as many cards as possible and get follow-up. Okay. We can discard. Yeah, so there, because I had grabbed Herald, Herald is an Omni-Negate, so it can, like, tribute itself to negate the activation of something. However, it also is sort of like, you know, a macrocosmos where it banishes cards sent from the deck to the grave or whatever. So I accidentally banished my Happy, which is my card I use to recycle things that are banished. So that's not great. Reading is important, fellas. We make a Little Knight, banish their Promethean Princess, recycle a rollback, get Imseti in the grave, grab another sarcophagus just in case. Eldlich comes out. So when you use Giant Trainer, you can't attack that same turn, so that's kind of a downside. Okay. Underworld Goddess negates our cards. Not sure why they didn't. Did they not use one of my monsters as material? No, she used my uh, Little Knight as material. I see. Okay. So not great. However, Underworld Goddess negates the summon of cards from the grave, but the issue is that these cards don't activate anything to summon, so she can't negate them. These are truly gods of the underworld. Sorry, Goddess. She can be destroyed by targeting, so we destroy, get a draw, swing for game, easy peasy. Oh, great stuff. Okay, let's go over some of the deck lists that I have. So I have a couple of decks that I'm working on. First, I have the grass version. Actually, before I do the grass version, I'll do the pure version because I can talk about certain cards more robustly. So this is sort of a pure Horus deck, which I've been experimenting with. It's like the idea is like we want to see our Horus engine as often as possible. So it's basically all Horus cards, Eldlich cards, and then a few power traps that we can copy with rollback. So first, let's go over the Horus cards. Imseti is your most important card. He's kind of the boss of the Horus archetype. What he does is you can discard a card to search out your King Sarcophagus. So between 3 of these and 3 of these, you have like 6 copies of King Sarcophagus. It's your kind of way of getting your Horus engine online. We also have these two guys. Happy allows you to recycle cards that have been banished or in either grave, and Duamef allows you to draw a bunch. So basically, between these cards coming out of the King Sarcophagus, you have ways of recycling your resources, dealing a lot of damage, and summoning XYZ monsters. We also have, so that was the Horus engine. The Eldlich engine, we only need 2 Golden Lords. It's very rare for both of them to get banished. Now that a Little Knight is out, he's going to get banished a little bit more often. But like we also have Happy to recycle him more if that happens. So it is what it is. We have a Pot of Extrav. I'm not bothering to run Pot of Prosperity in this version because it's like we don't really need to draw into a specific card. I mean, I guess Maybe we might want to draw into a King's Sarcophagus. Yeah, I don't know. We just want to draw as many cards as possible. Now that I think about it, I guess we could replace one of these Eldlich cards with a Pot of Prosperity just so we can get King's Sarcophagus. But like I said, it's still a work in progress, a lot of experimentation going on. I have a Trap Tantalizing Tune, just one because this is a smaller deck, but it's just another way to get consistency. It allows you to draw two if you discard one of your normal trap cards, which we have a lot of in this deck. And we really want to get cards like Transaction Rollback and Elemental Burst in the graveyard. It's also good value to discard for your King Sarcophagus because in the graveyard you can recycle your Eldlich Engine. More cards in the Eldlich Engine. Okay, so your Elixir of Black Awakening and your Elixir of White Destiny. This card can summon Eldritch from the deck on your turn. This card can summon Eldritch from your hand or the grave, quick effect. And Elixir can summon from the grave or your deck, quick effect. So the main card you want is Elixir. I just have both of these because you want to have these as fodder to discard with King Sarcophagus, as just what you discard it, you banish it to search out one of your golden land monster traps, and you get your interruptions online. So even though I like the idea of running more of your golden land trap monsters, when you banish them from the grave, all you do is grab your elixir. So you do want to have these interruptions that you're getting in the grave. Cursed Eldland has good synergy with the Horus engine. It's always good going second because you can grab your Eldlich and targeting send a card to grave, blah, blah, blah. But it's better going first now because you can draw a card that you care about, and then you'll have additional fodder to discard with King Sarcophagus, and you get follow-up for later turns and so on. More Eldlich cards. Okay, so Huaquero, non-targeting banish a monster in the grave. Conquistador, non-targeting destroy a card on the field. And I've thrown in a single Guardian because it's a level 8 when it's summoned as a monster, which allows you to make more rank 8 plays. I'm not 100% sure if it's necessary, but I just like the idea of having more Eldritch cards that you can discard and stuff. Going into some additional cards, we have Torrential Tribute. It just destroys the entire board. It's fantastic. It's like our best interruption. Against Snake Eyes, it can single-handedly end their turn. Destructo Daruma Karma Cannon is in that same vein. You can use it as an interruption to flip everything face down. If you use it against something like Pearly or any deck where they need to XYZ or Synchro Summon, you turn their turn off. And now that we have the Horus engine, on the following turn, you can easily blow everything up or one turn kill them. So just ending their turn does a lot. Trap Trick allows you to grab either of those power traps really easily. I run it at 2 just because, it's a card that we can access. We don't need to have 3 of these. It's only once per turn. Evenly Matched is great going second. If you can get it in the graveyard, then it's paired up with Rollback, a great way to banish everything face down. A single Elemental Burst, I really like it, paired up with Rollback as a way to blow up cards that have a lot of back row. You only need it at 1 because you just need to get it in the grave at some point. And obviously it's great discard fodder for King Sarcophagus. And then Transaction Rollback. This is a fantastic card. Great synergy with Eldritch because we have so many ways of getting it in the grave. You banish it, you copy any of your power traps and instantly end your opponent's turn. Yeah, this is the pure Horus engine. You might be able to find ways to cut 4 cards somewhere. Maybe cut one of these. Cut one of these. I don't know. You might find a way to cut 3 or 4 cards to throw in Skill Drain and Summon Limit or something. This deck does really well with Floodgates, but For now, I've been testing it as just this pure version to kind of figure out the combos and the ratios and so on. Going into the extra deck for what I have here, Chaos Angel is kind of a staple in Eldlich. If you have two level 5 monsters, you can synchro summon them. It doesn't need either of them to be considered a tuner. Banish a card, unaffected by opponent's monster effects. I really like it. Kind of the standard XYZ materials for the Horus package. We have the Zombie Vampire, which we can make using two level 8 monsters. You mill 4 cards from each player's deck to the grave and special summon out a monster. You saw when I was running this in a deck that had the Nadir package, you could summon out an Ecclesia and get a effect off. You could also summon out like an Eldlich or something. So I like the idea of it, still testing. Hope Harbinger is obviously a staple. You can use it to negate any spell card that they're going to have access to. And Giant Trainer, I think, is a necessity. You have a way to draw 3 cards. So you can be a situation where you're like trying to top deck and stuff. Maybe they have like a bunch of monsters that don't do anything and they're all like in defense mode and you're both kind of stalling out. You make this guy, you draw into like a torrential tribute, a karmic cannon, and like a rollback, and then you use the Eldlich Engrave to get rollback Engrave. Yeah, I think having access to a way to draw 3 is pretty great. Other rank cards, we're running the rank 10 package. It's probably pretty rare to make it when we only have our Eldlich cards. We are more likely to use these when you also are running Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Detach, do 2,000 damage. Detach, make him go up to 6,000 damage. Attack all your opponent's monsters. Instantly kill them. Zeus, obviously, we have rank 8 monsters, rank 10 monsters. You could also throw in a Constellar Pallades, which is a rank 5 monster if you wanted. That you can make with 2 of the light level 5 zombie monsters if you just want another XYZ package. Link Spider and Imduk are just ways to turn these into effect monsters to get them in grave, and so that you have 2 effect monsters that you can use to make Little Knight. Little Knight is obviously everywhere, right? This card allows you to like hop around the field, dodging targeting effects, getting annoying monsters out of the way until the end phase, blah blah blah. I threw in a Vampire Sucker just as a way of like getting a couple of zombie monsters out of from our field into the grave whenever we've like been locked into only using zombie monsters. I don't know, probably not necessary. We have a little bit more extra deck space now that we're not running the Nadir package. IP Masquerena, you can make it on your turn. Then on your opponent's turn, you can make a Little Knight to banish something, quick effect, or you could make like an Underworld Goddess. You know, interesting stuff. Or you can make an Appaloosa, maybe. I'm definitely experimenting with this extra deck. It's probably not set in stone. Last, obviously, Blackluster Soldier. I really like it. You make it with at least one monster who's level 7 or higher, and it can't be targeted, can't be destroyed. You can non-targeting banish cards. It's an interesting card. So that's kind of the pure version that I'm running with. And then let me just quickly show you this grass version. So if you've seen my other videos, you're probably familiar with some of the grass cards that we add. So by going up to 60 cards, you get a little bit additional flexibility. For example, grass looks greener is an important card. You can send like 15 or 20 cards from your deck to the grave, which makes it more likely that your transaction rollbacks are going to be in the grave to copy your really powerful traps. With the extra space, we can also run Dogmatica package, so you can use a Nadir Servant on your turn to mill 5, or on their turn to destroy 1. Ecclesia obviously searches out a punishment, which gives you destroy 2. So it's a nice package. We'll see if it is able to hold up in this format where we also have all these other monsters. And it's important to recognize whenever you use Nadir Servant, you're locked out of the extra deck for the rest of the turn. And whenever you use Dogmatica Punishment, you're locked out of the extra deck until the following turn. So it does mean you're going to be using your extra deck plays a little less often. I think that's still fine. Like, these guys typically are going to stay on the field. Like, I really like their on-field effects even before you start using them into rank 8 plays. Lord of the Heavenly Prison is great. Protects your back row, summons, searches out something like grass or maybe even a king sarcophagus for a turn just to like get your engine online. I think it's really useful. I really like it. Foolish Burial Goods obviously sends any particular spell or trap you need from your deck directly to the graveyard. Yeah, you'll notice with this version of the deck, there's a lot more cards that you use for consistency to make up for the fact that it's a 60 card deck. We also have Prod of Prosperity. The main theory is to be able to draw into a grass, but also maybe you just really need to see your King Sarcophagus. Triple Tactics Thrust is another card that increases consistency going first or going second. You can activate it if they use a monster effect like Maxi or Ash Blossom or something and just get exactly the spell or trap that you need for that situation. Trap Tantalizing Tune, again, a consistency card. It does conflict with your pot cards. So these pot cards say that after you use them, you can't draw cards by card effects for the rest of the turn. That doesn't conflict with Imseti because it says you discard to search a card and then you can draw one. So if you use Pot of Extrav, you're not going to get that draw one anymore, but you can still get the search off. So it's not that bad. But if you send a Garura or try to use Trap Tantalizing Tune on the same turn you use a pot, like you're not able to do that. But I just want to have more consistency, so I'm still running it. Still have Cursed Eldland. It's great to just grab additional zombie cards that you can use as discard fodder. The King Sarcophagi, the Torrential Tributes. In our 60 card version, we're also running Fiend Comedian. It's a really funny card you can use to banish 15 or 20 cards from your opponent's grave or send that same number of cards from your deck to the grave. A bunch of the Paleozoic Marillas, which you can use to, again, increase consistency, send exactly what you need to the grave, roll back, and so on. Evenly Matched, we've talked about. Punishment, we've talked about. Ice Dragon's Prison, I really like it against particular matchups where you can non-targeting banish a card in their grave and from their field. We'll see, again, if we're able to use that. If you use Elixir, you can only summon zombie monsters for the rest of the turn, so it's possible that Ice Dragon's Prison will be something that needs to go if we, use Elixir at the same time. Karma Cannon, rollback. Solemn Strike is fantastic for going first or going second. It's not hard once per turn. You can draw 3 and have 3 interruptions. You negate and destroy, so it's a way to get bodies off the field. You can negate anything. All monsters can't respond to its effect because it's a counter trap. Fantastic card. Skill Drain is by far the best floodgate for Eldlich. All of our monsters don't really care about their on-field effects, except I guess for our Horus cards. But again, we can just like summon them out as a bunch of like high attack monsters that will start destroying everything that they have. Really quickly going over the extra deck, when we have the Nadir package, we threw in an Elder Entitientis, a Kikkalos, a Garura, a Malong, and a Bucephalus. So Bucephalus means that punishment can destroy a monster with like 3,000 or more attack, and then you send this to get a draw 1. You could also send a Malong to bounce a card from the field into the extra deck. And Kikkalos can get you a mill 5 to try to get a rollback or something in grave. An Elder Entity Entis obviously is to destroy any card that they have. So it makes your extra deck a little bit more tight, but we also have the space for it. We've already talked about all of these cards, The Light Charmer is obviously great. We have a lot of light cards, zombie cards, for example, that we want to link off, and then we can steal one of their light monsters from the grave, which you saw when we grabbed their Herald of the Arclight, for example. And Imduk is obviously here to make summoning SP Little Knight a little bit easier. All right, thank you for watching this introduction to Horus Eldlich. There's definitely going to be a lot more experimentation happening in the future, and I'm looking forward to it, and also hearing the ideas that you might have. See you in the next one. Peace.